The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi there. Thanks for joining on time. We are just going to give it another minute or two for the latecomers to get on board, and then we're going to kick this off. So not long now, and we'll be kicking off. Okay, I'm back. Good afternoon, everybody. We've got a really healthy audience from mostly the West Coast area. Welcome to the webinar where we're going to be introducing the new SnapComms app and showing you how you can get started straight away using it as an employee engagement app. These new features are currently available on for our cloud customers, but our local customers should please talk to your customer success managers about a path forward for yourselves. Thanks for your attendance. I really hope you'll come out of this webinar excited to start using the new app, breathe some new life into your SnapComms app. Right, starting with some introductions. I'm Jane Dupree. I'm product manager at SnapComms, and I am in Auckland, New Zealand, where it's 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, the 8th of August. That's right. Stick with SnapComms, and we'll show you the future. We're in the future, and that's my last bad joke, so don't worry about that. Okay, also on the call is Linda Block. She is our product marketing manager, who I'll hand over to in just a bit. We also have Janice Little in Colorado. Hi there, Janice.
Hi, Jane. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Nice to hear you. And Todd Lewis is with Linda and I here in the Auckland office. Hello, Todd.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Jane. Thanks. Looking forward to it.
Great, me too. Let's get into it. Okay, some housekeeping. The webinar is being recorded, and we'll send you the recording and some additional resources after the webinar via an email. As attendees, you're all muted, but we really do encourage you to ask any questions you may have as we go. How you do that is if you, on your GoToWebinar console, if you open the question section, type your questions in there. Janice and Todd will be watching out for incoming questions, and they will alert me to those when I pause for breaks. There will also be time at the end for some questions. We can have a discussion around anything you'd like to at the end too. So onto our agenda. I'm going to hand over to Linda shortly. She will start by briefly looking at what employee apps are and how they drive employee engagement. She'll then outline how you can turn the SnapComms app you already have into an employee app and how you can launch a campaign to your staff in just 4 steps. I'll then cover these steps in a real-time demo. So this is not going to be death by PowerPoint. We're going to be live showing you exactly how to do this. So Linda, I'm going to hand over to you and put your first slide on screen.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jane. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining us today. So I'm going to jump right into what are employee apps and how do they drive employee engagement. So employee apps are really all about meeting your employees where they are, which is on their phones. It probably doesn't come as a surprise to you that people spend an estimated 4 hours a day on their phones, and mobile phones have really become the virtual extensions of ourselves. So for better or for worse, they allow us to stay in constant contact with the world, with our friends, family, the things we care about. So the point being here that mobile apps reflect your employees' tech preferences, and this is simply how they like to consume information. On the other hand, businesses have actually been quite slow to catch on to this shift of how we want to consume information. We still see businesses make employees search for information either on a clunky intranet or collaboration channels where it can be a bit of a nightmare to quickly find anything you're looking for. So employees are still expected to actively work to discover the information they need, but of course, the reality is if you want employees to pay attention to your content, it needs to be personalized, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to come to them. So don't make them search for it. And the final point I wanted to touch on is constant accessibility. That doesn't necessarily mean being on call 24/7, but it's really about facilitating those strong connections and having this one destination where employees can go to engage with your company, especially for remote employees who might have a bit of a harder time staying connected with you. All right, so that's just a bit of background on employee apps. I've been focusing on mobile employee apps now, but you can actually replicate this engaging and personalized experience on a desktop app also, which brings us to the SnapComms app that you're already using. You already have everything you need pretty much, so how can you turn this into an employee app? Everyone on the call is already a SnapComms customer, so you know that you can send a variety of different notification formats directly to desktops, whether that's an alert, a survey, pop-up notification, ticker, whatever it might be. At the core, our platform is really all about sending important information directly to employees. So at the moment, every message you send, no matter what content it is, whether it's a survey or an alert, all those messages show as a notification in your message history. And on this slide, you see the message history box for desktop, but it really works a similar way on mobile as well. And now with the launch of the new SnapComms app, you can turn this message history box that you're used to into a news feed, making it really this one destination for your employees to engage with you. So something they want to open up, something they want to scroll through because they know that the content in there is relevant and engaging to them. So depending on whether you're using SnapComms on desktop only or both desktop and mobile, you can transform your app to this view across all devices pretty much. So if you've previously considered mobile, this might be a good time to chat to your CSM about that. And right, Jane will now go through the demo with you and let you know how you can get started with this. So depending on what version you're on, you might have to first update the app. Then you can quite easily add your company logo and colors to turn this into a branded app. And of course, the newsfeed looks a lot better with images. So Jane will show you how to get started with that. And then at the end, we'll give you an idea of how you can launch this app to your employees with an alert. So handing over to Jane now.
Thanks, Linda, for setting that scene so well. Looks really exciting. So let's get into it. As you said, I'm going to take you through the 4 steps to get going with your employee app. My live demo today is on a PC, but I will switch to a mobile in about halfway through to show you that it behaves exactly the same for the end user on a phone and for that matter on a Mac. So step 1 is to update the new app to the version that contains the engagement-rich features. So the magic version number for Windows, iOS, and Android is 19.6. That indicates 2019, and the month is 6, so that was released in June. And for Mac, version 19.7, that was released in July. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to switch to my desktop view, and let's take a look at my existing Windows app as you probably are all very familiar with. Remember, you can access it from your systems tray. If you don't see it there, expand the view, pull it down, so you can always see it and notice the badge count if you've missed a new message while you're away from your desk. Okay, when I open the app and I hover over the SnapComms logo, I can see the version number. I have version 19.3. Let's do that again. Whoops. Version 19.3, so we do need to update to 19.6 to see the new features. The good news is that updating the Windows app is now so much easier, as it's just a simple publish mechanism from the Content Manager. This is possible with the Windows app from version 19.3, which was released in March 2019. If you are on an older app, you will need to do this update manually or by group policy, but that will be for the very last time. From now on, SnapComms app updates can be scheduled. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to close that and open the Content Manager. All right, let me just check my Zoom. All good, I'm on 100. Okay, in the App Management section, we need to select Windows App Updates. You should all have this available to you now. Here you're going to see the latest version. So right now the latest version is 19.6, and you are able to schedule an update. Be assured, though, that SnapComms will never automatically update your apps for you. We will never simply push them out to all your users. You retain the control of testing the new app yourself, and in a controlled environment, you can then decide on when to schedule the update to all your staff. But of course, I do want to proceed now in this demo, so I'm going to schedule an update. There we go. The latest version is pre-selected for me, so I simply need to select who should get it and when. Now, I am ready to roll this out to my whole organization. Let me apply that, and I'd like to do it immediately, so I just select apply, but you can schedule the update to go out to your staff at any time and date in the future. Right, we click publish, and then we publish again to confirm. I'm returning to app updates. Now, what's going on is when the app next polls the server, which is typically every 2 minutes, it will receive the version update. It will do a very quick restart while it installs, and then you'll be ready to go. Now, don't worry if you didn't follow that process 100%. As we are going to share a link to a video tutorial that explains it in plenty detail. So look out for that email from us later today with that link and some other resources. But it really, really is quite simple. Okay, I've noticed that my app did do a restart, so let's open it up and take a look. Okay, that's the new feed view. Immediately you're going to notice the richer visual display of the messages in this new default feed view. Now, the app is resizable from any outside edge. I'd like mine taller so I can show you more content, and the size and the position that you set are persisted the next time the app is open, so people can set it at their favorite size and it will always open in that manner. Now, each message has a customizable feed view, okay? So you can set that image to match the content. That allows your staff to kind of get an idea of the content. They can skim read the headline and the introduction text before they open it up to find out what might be going on. Okay, now scrolling down, this large image indicates a story. Now, this is also new. It's a brand new message type, and it's actually available to all of you for free as soon as you update to this new app. Okay, the general use case for a story is non-urgent, human interest content that is available to be consumed at your staff's leisure. This story is about Scott. He's a young engineering intern at SnapComms whose heartwarming story about his first few months here we really wanted to share with our staff. Notice below the story we have a green indicator marking that the story is still new. However, there is no incremental badge count on the app icon. Now, that is because stories are designed to come without a notification. In other words, they're not urgent enough to interrupt staff with a notification on screen. Clicking the story opens it up where you can read it all out. Notice now the green icon has disappeared. That story is considered as read. But that's actually, talking about notifications, a really good segue into introducing the secondary view in the app, which is called the notification view. Now, this will look familiar, and you'll also notice that the story is not shown here. Only the messages with notifications, the only messages that came with important notifications are shown here. You can think of this, or you can explain to your staff that this is a condensed view of their priority messages. So that is still available. Switching back to the feed view, let's have a look at the branding. Notice there is space for a logo in the top left corner, and a primary color, in this case blue, has been picked up for the icons. This branding or theming feature is also free with the new app, and it's controlled by the organizational theme you've set in your content manager, and that we're going to cover in step 2, so just bear with me. Now, messages are shown chronologically, obviously with the newest at the top. And another new feature is that messages are now searchable. So you can easily, or staff can easily find what they want to refer back to. So, for example, we've had a lot of new people start recently at SnapComms, and I can't remember all the names. So if I simply search for staff profile, I get a filtered view of all content with pertaining new staff profile, and I can quickly have a look and remember that it was the lovely Olivia I was meaning to go and speak to. Let's close the app. That search view also applies for notifications. So let's close the app and go back to the content manager and get ready for step 2. But I'm going to have a quick pause and a sip of water. Janice, are there any questions that have come in so far? Or I'm really curious as to people's first impressions.
Yes, there are a couple of questions. First, what type of reporting is there on stories? And maybe you answered this when you talked about the new icon. When is a story reported as read?
Okay. Yes, good question. I did briefly touch on it. So that story, when I first opened the app, did have that new icon next to it, which meant it had not been fully read yet. However, we then opened it, so we clicked it, we opened it, we saw the full story, and that could be as long as you want. It would just keep scrolling. And now, if you look at the report, so this is my dashboard, and here's that story. That has got, if we open the success report, in my case, I actually targeted that story at 2 people. It has only reached 1, but of those who it has been downloaded, or whose client has downloaded it, the success is 1. So as the story has to be opened from the app to be considered read. Does that answer?
It does. And then a second question. I've got one customer saying, I can't see stories in my content manager yet. How do I get that? You said it was free.
Yeah, excellent. So it is free and it's available to everybody. However, until you update yourself to 19.6, you actually cannot, or your staff cannot experience the story, from the app. So we can switch it on for you right away, and as administrators, you can practice setting up stories, but we really need you to take the first step of upgrading or updating your app to 19.6 before we switch on stories for you. So that's going to be a little bit of give and take. Stay in touch with your CSM or reach out to tech support. We can switch that on for you today if you like, but just be aware that the end result, the published story, is not visible in the older apps. You have to have 19.6. Okay.
That's it for now.
Okay, right. Let's move on to step 2, and this is always fun. We are going to change the logo and the branding of my app. So in the management section, I'm going to open themes, and you should notice there's a new icon next to the theme, and that depicts that this theme is currently being used to theme the app. So that icon represents the app. By default, we will always choose the organization theme, which is in this top left position, to be the app theme. But if you had something else set up, you could select that to be your app theme. Now, for this demo, I'm going to pretend that my organization is Airbnb. And so let's replace this placeholder logo with my Airbnb logo. So we click, we view the theme, we click Change Logo Image, and I select my Airbnb logo. I'm using an SVG file, but JPEG or PNG are also fine. And as you know, the theme colors in the logo automatically update the primary colors. So the next thing to notice is this new app tab. If we click on that, we get a preview of how this theme looks in the app. Okay, so it's the logo, the colors of the icons, and this kind of announcement area where we notify people that they have a new message that picks up the primary color. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think it looks fabulous. So I'm going to apply the logo. Do take note, though, of this warning, because the theme change will be immediate, and it applies to all connected apps which have this capability. So that will be mobiles and Macs as well. So everybody who has 19.6 and above will immediately receive this theme. So, but I do want to go ahead. I select yes. And when the app next connects, which again is usually in 2 minutes, the new theme will apply. So I'm impatient. I'm going to open it up. I can see it refreshing there. And just like that, your app now feels like your own organization's. That's fantastic. Right. I promised you I was going to show you how this looks on a mobile. So let me jump in here. And this is actually a video. It was just a bit complicated to do a screencast from my phone. So this is a video showing opening the app from the home screen. There is the default theme. And it looks, as you can see, the feed view looks exactly the same. The notification view is also available, and here is the rebranded version. So really like for like, what you're seeing on what I'm demoing on the desktop is the experience for the mobile. Okay, let's just pause there and again ask for any questions before we go on to step 3.
Jane, actually, yes, a question. What size logo should I upload to look good in the app and everywhere else?
Very good. Let me just get out of here and go back here. So if I switch back to content, the logo height the height that the logo presents in the general content messages is 90 pixels tall. Okay, obviously it will adapt its width, but it will stretch to 90 pixels tall. In the app, that reduces to 45 pixels tall. So my recommendation is the logo should be around, a high resolution logo at about over 90 pixels, and that will then present beautifully throughout.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay. Great. Now, step 3, and pretty much the last thing you need to do, and the part I've been looking forward to most, is to show you how to create and publish some rich content for your new feed. After all, when you do launch this to your staff, you want them to get the best possible first impression of the engagement app so that they are enticed to come to to come back to it. So the story, let me show you how to create a story. Create content, as somebody pointed out, you cannot see story yet, but we can switch that on for you as soon as you're ready. I select story. And I'm going to just copy and paste in so that I don't have to type my headline over here. And I'm simply going to save that into Jane's folder. Now, this is really simple to do. Stories look great right out of the box with very little effort required by yourself, the creator, the administrator. I'm going to, first step is to click to add a picture. And this story is about SnapComms, Team SnapComms going to a customer success conference. So I'm going to find a picture of that. Here's our team in San Francisco. And I'm going to apply that. And the picture is automatically added to fill the space. But notice this, you can now crop the image if you'd prefer. Okay, so say I want to get a tighter crop on that. Use the slider to zoom in and then reposition. I've decided I want to focus on Janice, myself, and Todd on the call, but there's also Ellen and Beth, and that's Philip Nunn. So applying that, I now get a tighter crop. So this image handling is also far improved. If I change my mind, if I go back, I can see that my original image is still in place, and my cropped image is a kind of a duplicate. So I'm happy with that. Now we need to write our headline. Simply paste it or type it in, and I'm going to paste in the story over here. Now, you'll notice that there are far fewer formatting options. We've really limited this to make it as simple, well, to really make it look beautiful out the box. We take care of all the fonts and the handlings that it looks great. All you've got to do is add your content. So as you can see, we have the text I've added has been truncated to 3 lines. That has to be clicked on by the end user and opened to be considered read. Okay, let's have a look at the preview. I love this. It gives you an in-context preview, so that is how it will look in the app. Very happy with that. So let's close. And now, as usual, with any message, we select our targets. That's the whole organization. Select my dates. By default, stories will show for a year, but this one I only want to show for 1 further month. So I'm going to apply that and then click publish. Off it goes. There's a preview of my feed again. All right, let's return to my dashboard and let's open the app. Okay, that hasn't come through yet, so I'm going to, because I'm impatient, I'm going to use the refresh icon to pull the new content. There it is, SnapComms Loves Learning, with the green indicator to indicate that it's still new. It has not been opened. I've got my timestamp on it, less than a minute ago, and I've got my indicator there to click on it to open up to read more. Fun, easy, and engaging. While we've got the app open, let's do a final check that everything looks great in the feed. Scrolling down to some older content, here you can see a quiz that was created before our feed feature was built. And that's why we're still seeing the traditional quiz icon in the feed view rather than a custom image. Now, I think this quiz is actually no longer valid. So what's the simplest solution here is I'm simply going to disable it to remove it from the feed. But let me show you exactly what has happened. Let's open the quiz in the Content Manager. Notice now that there is a new feed view tab in the designer view. When I click on that, I can see what's happened. There is the icon, and there I would need to update the content. But I've decided this quiz is old, so I'm going to just disable it to remove it from my feed. And now I'm going to show you how setting that feed view is part of the overall workflow of creating content, any content in SnapComms. So we're going to create an alert. I'm just going to copy my headline, normal desktop alert. I'm going to use my Airbnb theme, paste in my headline. This is a call for donations to the city mission, food donations. Click create. Oh, I've already got one of those. Let's do that. Okay, now as normal, you need to add your title. So I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to add my content. So this should be all very familiar to you, using the new tools, adding the content. I'm going to put some spaces in there, and I'm going to highlight that with my theme color. Now I want to put a picture to the right, so I switch on my designer and I change the layout to 2 columns, and I'm going to pull in an image to the right, find my image, and add that. I'm going to play with the formatting, and other than it being a bit narrow, that's just fantastic. Okay, so the new, as normal, when creating an alert, if it is going to be a pop-up alert, you will check the pop-up, and we have pre-populated the pop-up with your headline, and for purpose of this demo, I'm quite happy with that. But the important part now is the feed view, and that's very interesting. What I was hoping to show you, there we go, it was just cached. The image that we loaded in our content, as well as the headline and the first few lines of text, are automatically brought through. So there's very little for you to do, except in this case, you can see the image doesn't fit quite right. So I could choose to crop it, or I could simply change the scale mode to fit. That looks much better. And now we're good to go. Let's preview that. So we get that's our mobile, our feed view, our desktop view, and our notification. Right. So once again, we choose our audience, and we're ready to publish. Okay, so I've created a story. I've shown you the new workflow, just an extra one step in creating an alert. And I suggest that you before you launch to your customers, to your end users, your staff, that you get some good looking content in your app. Let's just check that. That looks fine, and there it is, looking good there. Okay, I'm going to pause again for any more questions, and then we're moving on to step 4.
Very good, and we do have more questions. Jane, the first one is, can you show us reporting capabilities? How many people are using the app and reading the feed?
Okay, so in terms of reporting capabilities, I guess that question is more around how many times are they opening it, I gather, because in terms of who has access to it, the short answer there is whoever you have rolled the SnapComms app 19.6 out to has access to it. But that's an excellent question in terms of how many times it has been opened. I know we are collecting that data, and it's excellent to hear that that is of interest. So we would be able to report on that, I guess, going forward. And yes, as the content publisher, as the employer, you would very much want to know who is engaging with it. So that's not available immediately right out the box, but definitely on the to-do list is to give you reporting on how often that's opened.
Okay. And then the next question is around panic button. We've got some customers on the line using panic button. Can I still display my panic button in the new app?
Absolutely. So what I haven't, okay, I don't have a panic button published to myself. If I did, it would appear right here in the top kind of navigation section. The familiar looking red panic button would be there. That theming doesn't change. It always stays the familiar red. And also just to note that if you were using the snooze capability, allowing your end users to snooze the app so that they're not interrupted by notifications during a presentation, for example, then the snooze icon would also appear top left there. So that functionality all pulls through.
Great, excellent. And then one more. Someone has noticed in the targeting panel that there are new targeting options. Can you explain attribute targeting?
Somebody's got a very eagle eye. Fantastic. I would love to explain that. So let us have a look at a piece of content. And let's look at our targeting screen. And I'm going to change that. Now, attribute targeting. This was launched to our cloud customers, I think, about 10 days ago now. And if we read the help text there, this allows you to send messages to staff or devices, machines, which have common attributes. So example, an attribute might be the location, which might be a city. So if you wanted to filter your target group by location, specifically Chicago or perhaps Chicago and Seattle, you could do that with attribute targeting. Now, the prerequisite is that those attributes are actually complete in Active Directory. If they are, then the SnapComms app does collect them, and there is a small mapping process that has to go on. So if you open attribute targeting, this is a link to the knowledge base article, which explains how to map your attributes. But I'll just show you by example here. I think I've got one or two attributes in here. Well, actually, this is just the app, so it will only know about me, and I'm the product manager. But if this app was installed across my whole organization, I would be able to have a list here of all titles, and I would then be able to target, let's say, the product managers as well as the sales managers for this message. So it's an enhancement to our targeting capability. One quick step to set it up, like I said, is the mapping. Full details over there. We're very excited about that.
Excellent. And then another question from Ben, who says that he is presently on version 18.12 and he'd like to update to 19.6, but he wonders, does he need to update does he need to run all the updates in between, or can I go directly to 19.6?
Okay, Ben, that's a very good question. Although in my opening remarks, I said that 19.3 was the baseline for updating to 19.6. The one you've got, as it turns out, 18.12 is also eligible. So we don't promote it publicly because there is a slight problem with screensaver. If a screensaver is running at the time that you schedule the update, then the update will not be successful. So you would have to repeat the scheduling of the update. But if that's not a problem for you, you can go straight ahead today and schedule out 19.6 straight from your 18.12.
That's all I've got at this time.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go on now to step 4. Let's go back. And really, step 4, we wanted to, kind of give you some advice or some best practice on notifying your employees about, their new engagement app. They may not even know they have a SnapComms app installed on their machine. So we've created what we call a notification alert that hopefully will help you. So I'm going to open that up and just look at it in the Content Manager. Now it's set to deliver direct on screen, and it's set to deliver in the bottom right corner, which is directly above the systems tray where we want them to take the action. And I'll just let you follow the animation, but really we're telling them, take a look at the new SnapComms app. It contains everything you need to know at a glance, and if you can't see it already, pull down that icon so that you can easily reference it to open up and see the content. So I'm going to publish that so we can see what it looks like in action. There we go, that's my preview. Let's publish. And I'll move on to my desktop so we can see that coming up. Hopefully not too long, hopefully not the full 2 minutes. There we go. So this is a fun way, showing the animation, explaining there's something new, what to do with it, how to bookmark it. And then, of course, when they do open it up, they get to see all your great new looking content and hopefully are inspired to keep coming back. Okay, I have got a quick poll that I'm going to put on screen. If you just like to indicate if you would like us to upload that notification, that launch notification to your content manager, we'd be quite happy to do that for you. Then it's ready for you to use. Of course, you can edit it. You can edit the words. You can use your theme colors on it. But that little animation is a really great way to explain to staff where to find the app and to get excited about it. So the votes are coming in. Seems like it looks pretty popular, which is fantastic. I'll leave that on screen. A couple more seconds. Excellent. If you change your mind, of course, just reach out to us and we can make that happen for you. So that concludes the demo. Let's do a quick recap. I showed you how to update via the scheduling of the app updates. I showed you the fun and easy process of adding your logo and your colors to the app. We looked at how to create a story, which is that lovely rich content. I also explained how to enrich your desktop alert view with the feed view image. And I've shown you an example of how to alert your staff that things have changed with SnapComms. So that concludes. That's great. We've still got a few minutes. What I'm going to do now is just take you through what happens next, and then we can open up for some questions. So Linda and I will be emailing out the recording of this webinar as well as the PowerPoint deck for you to share with whoever you choose. The email will contain links to 3 video tutorials. So there's a video tutorial specifically for the app updates. There's a video tutorial for the app theming, and there is one for how to create stories. They all go into a lot more detail than I've done in this quick demo. So refer back to those if you like. If you requested it, we will upload the launch notification into your content manager. We'll probably put it in a specific folder so that you know where to go and look for it, and we'll tell you all about that in the email. And I guess I just wanted to point out one other thing. and that is in the Content Manager, we have been receiving some really great feedback, but I just wanted to stress that this button here, Ideas, is pretty much your direct channel to the product team, to myself and my product owners and the developers, and well, all of us. We all look at this feedback. So if you haven't had a chance, to ask a question today, or if you have got a great idea of what you'd like to see next, then pop it in here, and then it's in the system, and we can process it accordingly. Okay, let's go back here, and I'm just going to pause and see if there are any more questions.
Actually, Jane, you answered one of the questions when you referred to the prod pad there. And then a related question. In fact, a few folks have asked this question related to our roadmap. What's next from SnapComms?
Okay, we are the attribute targeting I've shown you is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of how we are extending our targeting capability. That involves also pulling in attributes from other systems, so not only from Active Directory. So that's a very big piece of work we're doing. We're also working very hard on our mobile registration process, so that it's far easier for your employees, your staff, to actually adopt the SnapComms app, to get it on their phone and to sign up. We're making huge progress there. I'm not going to spill too many other beans, but I'd really love to hear from you. Like, having seen what you've seen now of the engagement app, what do you think? What are your first impressions? What's missing? So I'm really turning the tables back on the audience, Janice.
No, that's a very good question, but I've got one more for you, and that is one of our customers wants to confirm that these enhancements are available on a private cloud as well as shared cloud.
That's correct. So currently available on our private clouds. Our private clouds receive they get updated a week after our main clouds. So they only lag by a week, but all of this capability is definitely in the private clouds right now.
Excellent. And that's all we have at this point.
Okay, well, I hope you have. I've certainly enjoyed myself. Linda, anything else from your side before we sign off?
No, I think I'm good. No, thanks everyone for joining us.
Okay, super. You'll hear from us shortly via email. Like I said, feel free to share this with your colleagues, get some others excited, and let's breathe some new life into that SnapComms app at your organization. Thanks, everybody. You'll hear from us again soon. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.